Welcome home, human. Oh dear. Looks like you've had another hard day. What is this now? The third time this week you've collapsed onto bed as soon as you've gotten home. You left so early this morning, too. I know you have to make a living, but burnout should not have to be the cost of survival. Oh my. That breeze has turned rather cold this evening. Fortunately, that is one thing I can take care of. Much better. I must not let my dear human catch a chill. Hopefully, they do not realize they did not close it properly. You have not moved, so perhaps you did not notice. If you did, you will likely berate yourself for hours about it. I do wish you were not so hard on yourself all the time, human. Making comparisons to others and judging yourself against what you think you should be able to manage. If you could hear me, I would tell you what I see before me. I see a kind, passionate, and genuine soul who sees and appreciates nature. Someone who derives their identity from the intersections of their values, interests, and experiences, and thus has the capacity to learn and evolve in perpetuity. Such potential is truly precious. I have existed in this world for a very long time, watching countless humans go about their lives. Oh, the changes I have witnessed. So much of my lush forest turned to sterile, impermeable lands of metal and stone. Some growing so high they loom over the tallest of trees. But I digress. What has not changed in all that time is how most humans derive their own sense of self from their social standing, the circumstances of their birth, and who they interact with. Many are so attached to this, they would rather ignore inconsistencies and contradictions between the actions of their community and its espoused values than question them. It is rare to encounter a human like you, cognitively unshackled by such rigid, insular, and dare I say it, even nonsensical rules and hierarchies. Though even if you could hear me, knowing what a rare treasure you are would not likely make life any easier for you. An ignorant majority will always pathologize a minority. For to an apple in a world of its kind, an orange is not but a malformed, malfunctioning apple. Navigating such a world as you do each day must be as exhausting as it is awe-inspiring. If only you could have stayed home today. We had plenty of visitors to the garden you tend so lovingly. Shall I tell you about them? That white-tailed doe who scarpered when you left for work. She came back shortly after, this time joined by another, perhaps a sister and a delightful little fawn. It is rather early in the season for the fawn, but it certainly looked healthy and was browsing the vegetation in its mother's footsteps. The adults bruised themselves in the wild hydrangea before moving on to the blackberry brambles round my shrine, before they bounded back into the woodland. I hope they return at a time when we can watch them together. They were not the only ones interested in my shrine today. I saw a chipmunk pottering round this morning, and again later this afternoon. It could have been the same one, I suppose. If it is, perhaps it has made a nest nearby. And there were a few squirrels about as well, looking for seeds and shoots, no doubt. There was one brave soul that mounted one of the sweat feeders. Probably one of the troublemakers that had prompted you to change to the capsaicin-laced feed. Let us say that has had the desired effect. It practically flew when it sensed the spice. Yes, I doubt we will have any more problems with squirrels or raccoons messing with them. The burbs. You have me saying it like that now. The birds can have their meals undisturbed. That is, unless that blue jay is around. He turned up a little earlier than the squirrels and, true to form, scared off the woodpeckers at both feeders with his imitated hawk call. You know, he is rather good at that. With the garden clear of competition, he visited each feeder before flying off to continue his day. Goodness knows where. And do not worry, the woodpeckers returned shortly after and had their fill. It seems you are much more relaxed than when you came home, human. Someone who didn't know better would think you'd been listening to my ramblings. You know, I am most grateful to you, my dear human, for tending the garden as you do. You provide a much-needed haven to so many creatures. If not for that, I fear many would disappear entirely from this area, my forest having shrunk so much. And I do so enjoy watching them. It had been many years since a blue butterfly last crossed my path. Yet already twice this season, I have seen one amongst the lupines you've been cultivating. They have been attracting many different butterflies when it is calm and sunny. It was like that for most of the day, but a cold breeze has risen this evening. Do you hear that, human? Is that not an eastern screech owl's tremolo? That could be the first guest of the nest box you built. What a delightful call it has. I could listen to that all night. I wonder who else might visit tonight. Perhaps a porcupine. The joy you express upon finding a quill is contagious. I had never really paid them much heed, but I now find myself looking out for them when wandering round. I do my best to ensure any I come across are not too difficult for you to find. There may just be a couple waiting for you when you next clean and refill the feeders. At this rate, you'll soon have enough for the quill work you've been planning. I can see that you are drifting off, human. That is probably for the best. You have more than earned your rest. I shall let you be and retire to my shrine for the night. Thank you again for cleaning it up last week. It is such a lovely place from which to look out over the garden. Sleep well, human treasure.